So this past weekend, McClung just repeated as the NBA's All-Star Weekend Slam Dunk Champion for the second year in a row. And for those of y'all that watched, for those of y'all that seen, you already know the man was in his Duffy, coming out with a reverse dunk where he tossed it to himself, a windmill where he cocked it behind his head, then a dunk over two people, and he finished with a dunk over Shaq wearing McClung's high school jersey. Mind you, Shaq is a 7'1", 300-pounder. So yeah, it's really just amazing how athletic this man is. But, after watching this performance, I got to thinking about McClung besides the dunking. Yes, I don't mean to be that guy, but I got to thinking about his NBA career. Because, McClung, he's been a viral sensation since high school for his dunks and crazy mixtapes. But he's always been a solid player. He played for Georgetown and Texas Tech in college and had some solid performances. And while no one picked him up in the 2021 NBA draft, he was able to get signed and still make the NBA. However, at the time of this video, he hasn't played a single NBA game in the current season. And since joining the NBA, he's gained more fame for his dunking rather than his actual playing ability. Which, isn't really a bad thing. I mean, I'm sure he's reaping benefits from this both on social media and in actual bread. Like, he's getting money. However, I do believe McClung could be a real contributor on an actual NBA team. And in this video, we're going to get into all of that and why all of this sort of reminds me of Zach LaVine early in his career when he got put into a box as just being a great dunker, just to show he's much more than that when he joined the Chicago Bulls. And I understand, McClung is no Zach LaVine. I'm not even saying, listen, I'd be lying if I said I believe McClung has Zach LaVine potential. But then at the same time, I do see him playing much more than just the 4 NBA games he's played in total since getting signed by the Lakers in 2021. Y'all, that was 3 years ago. So yeah, let me know in the comments, am I tripping? Is McClung destined to be known as a dunker for his career? Or do you believe he could come off the bench as a solid contributor, maybe be a starter one day, like I do? But really quick before I go any further, what's up YouTube? Plug Speaks back with another video. If you're new, first of all, welcome, go ahead and sub. Also like the video if you enjoy. I upload quality basketball content and we're on the ground for 5K. So I most definitely appreciate it. But back to the video though. Now let's begin with really looking at the state of his NBA career right now. Then I'll get into all the reasons he's definitely good enough to be in the rotation of an NBA roster. So yeah, like I said, he's played a total of 4 actual NBA games in his career. But, 4 games isn't nearly a big enough sample size to come up to a conclusion about this guy. I mean, I'll throw his career numbers on the screen, but as you can see, it ain't much to take from this. His time with the Lakers was incredibly short, his time with Chicago was even shorter, and then his time in Philly wasn't very long either, even though he did put up some solid performances in the 2 games he played. But yeah, again, just not much to take from this. However, if we instead look at what McClung has done in the G League, y'all opinions on this man might change just a little bit, because he's actually spent the majority of his NBA career in the G League, obviously. But he's been making the most of it, you better trust and believe. You see, in the 14 games he's played this NBA season for the Orlando Magic's G League squad, he's averaging nearly 24 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds on a very efficient 50% from the field and 39% from 3. And right off the bat, I just know this has to surprise some people. Because, y'all, come on now. Let's be real. When we think of the most athletic guys that be throwing down monster slam dunks and just be freakishly and dummy athletic, the last thing you expect from them is for them to have a burner, like a real shooting ability. I mean, it's just not very common that these guys can shoot, but McClung is one of them that can. And matter of fact, throughout his entire G League career, the lowest he shot from 3 is 37%. Come on, y'all, that's pretty damn good. And it would be a damn lie if we were to pretend as if this skill alone doesn't reveal the value he could bring to an NBA team. Because I understand, averaging 20 in the G League may not really matter for some people. I mean, it is true that at the end of the day, if he were good enough to do that in the league, then he would be a common rotational player, putting up 20. But he isn't, and that's because the level of talent and competition is obviously weaker in the G League versus the actual NBA. But even in saying that, we've got to admit, we can't really use this argument against his shooting. Yes, you can discount some of his efficiency to the level of defense, but even still, it's not as if the G League 3-point line is shorter than the NBA's line or anything like that. So for the most part, McClung's shooting ability is something that should be acknowledged and can be trusted to transfer to the big leagues. But yeah, moving on and moving forward, I want to get into his play style, because his play style is another reason he could definitely be a rotational player somewhere in the NBA. And this is because he's such a more well-rounded and just better player versus coming out of college. And this is because his passing ability specifically has improved heavily since college. And I'll admit, he sort of put himself in a hole by looking so one-dimensional as a player when he was already undersized for his position. I mean, in college, the most assists he ever averaged was 2. And I know college basketball is different, so people don't really be averaging, 10 assists or anything like that. But my boy, 2? You're a point guard. So yeah, I mean, that definitely had a lot to do as to why he went undrafted and why things weren't looking too good for him when he first entered the league. But again, let me tell you, over the course of these years in the G League, I mean, it's literally the league for development. It was called the D League before it was the G League. And he's developed his game a lot, just looking for the pass, looking for holes in the defense to distribute the ball, looking for the lob pass for the big man. Just a lot of simple point guard things. And when you combine this with the fact that he's really only growing as a player when it comes to being even more well-rounded, then I see no reason as to why he can't be a real consistent NBA rotational player, whether it's on a bench or even starting. Listen, if you're the type of person that doesn't care about the G League and just discounts it completely and totally, then I got nothing for you, because we not finna sit here and pretend it hasn't produced some real NBA talent and some real tough guys. I mean, just take Jordan Poole, for instance, blah, blah. I understand his name ain't too hot right now between how things ended in Golden State and how he's been playing in Washington for the Wizards and all of that. But come on now, he's a perfect example of evidence of someone who tore up the G League and continued to demonstrate quality play in the big leagues. Like, he was averaging 26 in the G League. The Warriors called him up. He was cooking up in Golden State in the regular season, was cooking up in the playoffs. And now he's an NBA champion who actually, had some real contributions to the title run and everything like that. So yeah, stuff like McClung averaging 20 this season, stuff like him winning G League Rookie of the Year, it goes to show me the talent is there, and that once the talent meets opportunity or the hard work meets opportunity, I don't know, I forgot how the cliche goes, but once he's given a chance, he will show people that, he belongs in the NBA as a common rotational player, whether it's off the bench or maybe as a starter one day. But yeah, y'all let me know in the comments, man. Do you agree with me? Do you believe in McClung and his abilities? Why not? Or is he just a glorified dunker? I mean, hey, ain't too bad of a reputation either. I mean, a win is a win. Ain't that what they be saying? A win is a win. But yeah, y'all like this up, share it, sub if new, drop y'all thoughts below, and I'm out.